is certainly not a shortage of fun when it comes to the classic 1950s Piston Cup racers that we saw in Cars 3 in Doc Hudson's flashback scenes. I mean, that was some of my favorite parts of the movie, just getting to see what it was like back in the day in the Piston Cup, because we always heard about it from Doc, but we never really got to see it other than the little image we saw of Doc's crash in the paper we saw in the first Cars movie. But Cars 3 really fleshed all that out, and it was really, really fun. And it was really also fun, not just to see the old time racers, but also all the old time cars and trucks and vans that went along with them. Because, of course, to have a Piston Cup race, you need a lot of other cars to make the race run smoothly and, air on TV. And that is where this guy right here, Mr. Wheeldell Lee, fits in. He is actually a very old TV truck, worked for RSN, or as they called it back in the day, WRSN TV, and he was pretty much the Chuck Choke Cables or Nelson Blindspot of the good old days for the Piston Cup. And here he is today. He's back for 2024, and now he has landed here in the Cars Garage. So welcome on back, everyone, to the channel. This guy first came out of 2024 Singles Case C, and he's actually back for Case E, although he's not in the half count case, which is really unfortunate because I did find Case E a lot, but here in Canada, and I think the States too, really just all Walmarts now in North America, they only seem to get the half count cases, so obviously he's not in it, so I wasn't able to find him. But I did get this guy off of Mr. Docket actually quite a few months ago now, so thank you so much to him for shipping it my way. I know he's in pretty much perfect condition, the whole packaging, but I don't really care. I really want this guy open because I did find him when he was first released in 2019, and I don't know why. I guess I wasn't in the mood that day. I didn't pick him up. I really wasn't as avid into collecting those years, 2019 and 2020, but then in 2021, late in the year, I did really start to ramp it up and I started buying a lot more cars. But, I needed a break, I guess, is what it was. And I was really upset for a long time that I didn't pick this guy up because he's not really rare or anything. I just would always see him on eBay, listings and whatnot, on Amazon too, and I'd always think about that day when I could have got him for like $7. That's how much cars were back then. Now they're like 9. And I passed him up, unfortunately. But whatever, he's back now for 2024, and that's all that matters. On the Redder Riders card, of course. Here's his artwork. Looks really, really cool. I love his name too, Wheeldell Lee. He's named off of somebody. I gotta check who, and then I'll tell you later. But I just love his whole shape. He's kind of like Smokey in the front, but in the back, he starts to be not so much like a truck and he looks more like a van. I mean, he is a van, but in the front end, he really looks like Smokey, which is cool because I love Hudson Hornet pickup trucks, and that's what this guy reminds me of. And there's quite a few in that flashback scene, but unfortunately, Mattel really hasn't made any of them other than Smokey and this guy. Hopefully, they'll do more in the future because they still have to do the ambulance, the fire truck, all those, even the police car. I think there was one. There's a lot of cool old fashioned cars, and I don't know why they refuse to do them. Like they only do a few, and really, I guess there's only two, other than the race cars and Smokey. This guy and Double Clutch Daily is really the only ones they have done that aren't racers, of course. But anyways, on the back, as seen in Cars 3, we got the Vuzine Racing Tractor. He sure is becoming rare now. We got Rusty's Cruz Ramirez, Heyday Smokey. We actually just found in the store from Case G. I'll be reviewing him soon if I can get a second one because I don't have him open from Thailand. And then we have Eric Breaker, Jackson Storm, and Bill. And still a ghost car there. Still nothing there, unfortunately. But without any further ado, guys, I'll be right back with good old Wheeldell Lee all opened up. My Pive, which just means grandpa in French, which doesn't really make sense why I call him that because I'm not French, but whatever. That's beside the point. He actually used to have an old TV store, and I swear, I mean, I wasn't alive back then, but I swear that he used to have a van that looked very, very similar to Wield Lee here because my mom, right when she saw this guy just sitting on the table a few seconds ago, she said, "Hey, that's Pepe's old van." So pretty cool. This Wheeldell Lee will always remind me of my Pepe now, every single time I look at him. First of all, I just have to say, though, I love his name, Wheeldell Lee. I always used to say Wheeldle Lee, and I hear a lot of other people, including Mr. Dockett, say Wheeldle Lee. I don't think that's how you say it, though. I think you're supposed to pronounce the L. It's Wheeldell Lee. I don't know. It's a little bit of a tongue twister, but he is named off of one of the Cars 3 animators named Wendell Lee, so I can see where they got that from. My uncle's dog actually used to be named Wendell. Well, he still is, but he died, unfortunately, a long time ago. So, yeah, whatever. Anyways, here he is. He looks really, really cool. I like him a lot. I always thought he was more like a truck with just like an added part on the back, but no, he really is a van. He's based off of a Chevy Suburban panel van, I guess, like a 1941, it says online. I can see that. He's obviously not an officially licensed Chevrolet car or anything like that, but you can definitely tell that he's like an old type of car like that. And yeah, I guess I see the resemblance to a Chevrolet because of the point right there. But then again, that's what Smokey has, and that's from Hudson. So I don't know. Like, Smokey really is an actual Hudson pickup truck. Poor Double Clutch Daily, I dropped him. But yeah, look at these two. They're really like the only two cars from the Thomasville Speedway that we have that aren't like racers or smoky. So, hopefully we'll get like the ambulance and the fire truck and whatever else was in that scene before long, but not this year at least. Anyways, here is an image of where Wield appears at in Cars 3. Just a background character appears for like a split second. It's a good split second though. You can see him using his camera in action. It's a very old looking camera, and he's just filming the race, obviously, that's taking place at the Thomasville Speedway in the flashback scene that we get to see when the townies are basically just telling us about the good old days at the Cotter Pin in Thomasville. I really do love Thomasville. It is kind of supposed to be based in like North Carolina. It's actually based on this little town called North Wilkesboro. So that's pretty darn cool. I actually didn't know that until today. I knew it was supposed to be in North Carolina, but I didn't know it was actually based on a real life town. And it is because, that was, or I guess is the moonshine capital of the world. And that's what Thomasville is in the world of cars. So that's really cool. I like how they clarified that. I just love the appearance of this guy, though. Wheeldell Lee. He is so happy looking and just like very mellow, but happy. He's got a nice little cheerful, mellow smile on him and a lot of nice silver trim too. He's very heavy too. It's a very, very heavy car. A lot of metal. That's why I kind of thought the back section was more like a truck, so I assumed it would be plastic, but no, it is all metal. He is very, very hefty. And he's much taller than a truck too. So yeah, he's definitely a van. I don't know why I used to think he was like a truck that just had some like little improvements made to him to make him a little bit bigger, like a van. But what's weird though is that I don't really see like, a big door in the back, so I don't know. I guess this door is how you'd store stuff, but that's kind of weird. Like, I don't know. Why wouldn't you have a door in the back? That's really weird. But not a lot of windows either, just a small one in the back and the little ones on the side. But I like the little decals he has and the light blue paint. Really, really cool. It reminds me of the color of my room, actually. A light blue color. I really like it. It's just like light colors are the best, I think. Not often with cars, but it works for Wheeldell Lee. I like it a lot. He's very, very similar to Smokey, though, in the front end. As you can see, he doesn't have that little, like, what do you call that? Hood ornament right there. Little silver piece. He has, like, the same type of silver trim on the sides, though, and a door in pretty much the same spot, just kind of, like, higher up. Doesn't have the visor like Smokey has. Similar rims, but not the exact same. And not really the exact same grill either. That part's actually quite a bit different. For some reason, I thought it was like pretty much the exact same. Similar headlights though. Nice little circular, old school looking headlights. I just love how he's like curved in the front. Definitely Chevrolet reminiscent. I like how all Chevys kind of share that, even the new ones. I wish that, even though Ford's my favorite brand of car, I wish that they had something like that they all shared. But anyways, yeah, the rims look okay. A little bit grainy, but what do you expect? Just flat gray rims with some nice blue trim. That's actually cool. Didn't expect a old van like Wheeldell to have trim on his rims. That's pretty cool. A lot of cool decals though right here. Let's get a zoom in on that. I don't really know. I can't really zoom in much more, but I don't know. Mobile live unit, it says. Yeah, you can read it. That's cool. Like the white and red text, just like my logo. It's white and red. And then here, this is really cool. I have some cool information to share with you. This says WRSN TV instead of just RSN TV like we're used to nowadays, Racing Sports Network. is what it stands for. And it still says that Racing Sports Network. But the W, it actually, I guess it really doesn't stand for anything, or I guess it just stands for West. I guess, I don't know. But I read online, I wrote it down. It says, in the early days of radio licenses in the US, after a few years of random call signs being taken on by experimental stations, the FCC decided to structure American Radio Station ID to start with a W east of the Mississippi River and a K west of it. So that is why the W is there, because obviously in Old Thomasville is east of the Mississippi River. It's supposed to be North Carolina. So that's really cool. I want to give a shout out to my good friend Mason for actually informing me all that, because I asked my friends over there on Skype if anyone knew what the W stood for, because I couldn't find it out online what it stood for, and turns out that's what it means. It doesn't really stand for anything unless it just stands for west, but that's what it means, because it's east of the Mississippi River, Thomasville. And then we have the channel 12 right here. That's the channel, I guess, that it would air on. It aired on back in the 50s. And then looks like some little codes. 204-210, I guess, and then MHZ. Don't really know what that means, just some specifics and stuff. He does have these cool old school little mirrors here, which Smokey does not have, so there's a similarity, or a difference, I mean. And then on the back side of things, he has a license plate, as you can see. And what does it say? N48 56M. Pretty cool. I can't really read the top too much. Yeah, I don't know. It's very blurry. But let's just assume it says Thomasville. That's what I think it should say. But maybe he doesn't live in Thomasville. That would actually probably make sense if it didn't say Thomasville, because I doubt he lives in Thomasville. He probably just was there in the flashback scene, like back in the 50s, to film the race. He probably travels with the piston cup, I'd assume. Some nice little circular taillights in the back, and like that little window there, hang some drapes in there. It reminds me of the one that River Scott's model of car always seems to have. Little plastic bumper in the back, the mirrors are plastic, and the bumper in the front is plastic too. Almost didn't even realize it's actually pretty nicely silverized. The side, yeah, pretty much the exact same. Not really noticing any differences. And then the top, there's nothing really to talk about. It's just very like curved. I really like how it's curved here. Very cool. He seems very modified to me, but it's probably just how he always was, I'd assume. On the base, made in Thailand, and then not a lot of base room. There's a lot of metal on the base, like these blue parts here. They're pretty thick. Actually, a pretty skinny base. It says S35A, so the 35th week of 2023 he was made. So just over like the hatch, I guess, just after the halfway point of the year last year in 2023. Makes sense. Now, there's really not a whole lot to compare Wheeldell to. He's kind of in a class of his own. Here he is next to Smokey, just for comparison's sake. They're about the same size. Yeah, actually, the exact same length for the most part. That's pretty cool. I love how Wheeldell's wheel wells are actually pretty like noticeable. They're very, very chunky. It's cool. I would assume that he'd be kind of an overweight car, if or an overweight person, if he wasn't a van like he is. I feel like when you see things like that, like the big giant wheel wells, that's kind of like a carified version of being overweight, but I don't really know about that. I'm just saying that. I feel like maybe. He does have a plastic eye plate too. Almost didn't even realize that. Nice turquoise eyes though. I really like them a lot. But yeah, really nothing else to compare them to other than some cameramen cars that we've gotten in the past. We've only gotten two Chuck Choke Cables from Cars 1 and Nelson Blind Spot also from Cars 1. Now, they were deluxes when they were released, and they had these little cameras. But unfortunately, Wheeldell does not have a camera. Well, that's kind of mixed around. That's Nelson's, and this is Chuck's. But yeah, I don't think even in the movie, Wheeldell's has his name on his, but that would have been cool. Obviously, this camera wouldn't really work with Wheeldell, a bit too modern for him, but it could work. It would be pretty cool if he had one. I guess that looks pretty cool, even though it's not really from his era of cameras. It still looks pretty cool on him. There is another cameraman too, actually, in Cars 3, and he looks pretty much the exact same as like Joe Don Jackson, that kind of model. And he's pretty much the exact same color too. So really, they could do him eventually if they wanted to. I feel like they won't though. And if they do, they'll probably just strip the decals off Joe Don and call it a day. Give him a new name. Maybe they'll release him with the camera though. That would be cool. I'd really like to get Wheeldell's camera as an accessory. I think that'd be so cool because it's such a unique looking camera. Like it's much cooler looking than this one. This one's even old school at this point, but I mean the other one is like really old school. It's not like almost 20-year kind of old school. It's like 70-year type of old school. So yeah, hopefully we'll get that eventually. They easily could just raise up the blister and throw it into Wheeldell's blister, right? I mean, I'm sure they could. I don't see why they couldn't. They've done stuff like that before. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Wheeldell Lee. He's a very, very cool van. I was going to say truck, but no, he is a van. Thank you so much to Mr. Doggett for actually shipping him my way. I really appreciate it. And yeah, anyways, I think that'll be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Hope that you did enjoy, and I'll see you next time right here on the Cars Garage.